How's it going, everyone? It's Sam. Today we are talking about the next 10x. Now, this is not a stock. This is not a set of stocks. This is not a sector. This is bigger than that. And I want to explain it to you here. And hopefully this gets you pretty excited about the future of investing here. So I'll explain it. If you guys don't mind, hit the like button. Also, this video is brought to you by BlockFi, so you can get an interest rate, you can get bonuses, you can get all kinds of things on BlockFi. Plus, they have a Bitcoin-backed credit card, which is awesome. You can get extra bonuses on stablecoin. I would sign up for it. I've been using it exclusively, so definitely check that out underneath the video. Thank you to BlockFi. And let's take a look. World GDP over the last 2 millennia. This is a chart that I saw on one of the latest videos from Solving the Money Problem. Great channel talking about Tesla, and it's fascinating. I'll be honest, I haven't looked at the world GDP in a while, so let's take a look. You can see here that back in 1950, the world GDP was 9.25 trillion. Back in 2015, this jumped all the way up to $108 trillion. So over 65 years, we did over 10x. It's actually about 62 years it took for us to 10x. And you can see that this has grown a lot, but it's growing faster. It is picking up. So if we look over here and really scale this out a little bit, you can see how exponential this is. The world GDP is gaining a lot of traction, or growing very quickly, I should say, because it's exponential. And this is something that ARK Invest has talked about and Kathy Wood has talked about a good amount, which is there are certain sectors that are all converging and they expect explosive growth. And really, this chart might be one of the best ways to see that. I mean, it's obvious that there's exponential growth, and as time goes on, it's only becoming more exponential. There was kind of this inflection point around the 1950s after World War II where it just started to take off. Now, what does this mean? What does this mean for investors? Well, even in 2020, right? Even with a world pandemic, the US economy recovered very quickly. The GDP recovered quickly. Now, how does GDP increase? Well, there are two different things. Growth in the size of the workforce, which is obvious, right? Because we are gaining population as a world, but also growth in the productivity or output per hour worked of that workforce. And that's what's happening right now. This is even accounting for inflation. So you can't say, oh, well, there's just more money floating around or something like that. No, this is accounting for inflation. And yes, we have growth in the size of the workforce. That has been exponential over time, obviously, because there have been more and more people that are born, and that's exponential. But there's huge growth in productivity. I mean, think about all the innovation that's happened over the last 100 years from machines to lines of workers. There's so much more productivity, and you have to work less and less time to do it. I mean, back 50 years ago, if you want to have a conversation with someone, you had to drive a car, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever. Now you can just call them. You can just text them. It's so much more productive. And that's where we get to the 10x, which is interesting too. I should bring this up. The Tesla bot. This could even increase productivity more. I mean, this was just announced the other day. This is still work in progress. And this really shows where productivity can be 10 years from now. If you were thinking about Tesla as just a car company, you're wrong. They are going to have these. If they actually make these, this could make sense for almost everyone to own. If you don't have to do some of the menial tasks around your house, imagine how much more you can get done. I mean, whether you have like a weeding app or it does dishes, whatever. I know it's kind of freaky to look at, but that will only increase productivity more. So that brings us to what is going to happen. Well, I can tell you this, Coca-Cola is not going to automatically become 10 times more productive over the next 30, 40 years. I can definitely tell you though, that GDP will continue to increase at an exponential rate because of all the new technology. We're looking at maybe 30, 40, 50 years, and we are going to maybe 10x again in GDP. Isn't that crazy to think about? I mean, it took us a long time, 130 years to 10x here, and then it took us 65 years to 10x here. So based on those numbers, will it take us only 30, 35 years to 10x GDP? Well, it's definitely possible, and if we are going to invest in different stocks and different companies and we want good returns, we're not going to invest in companies like Coca-Cola. I hate to tell you that, but they are not going to 10x over the next 10, 20, 30 years. What we're going to look at is innovative companies that are disrupting. I mean, that is what ARK Invest does, right? They always talk about that. All the different sectors that they invest in are all going to converge into one. And I think we're starting to see that in some different sectors like crypto. I mean, I personally like crypto, but you can see this exponential growth and it almost doesn't look like it because of the fact that we're on such a small chart here. I mean, from here to here is 4 years, right? But it went from a very small market cap of 23 billion back in 2017 to now 2 trillion. So we're talking about 100x. Where can cryptocurrency move from here? Michael Saylor says Bitcoin's a $100 trillion asset. Now, that kind of maybe gets through to some people, but some people are saying, no, that's not possible. We're not going to 50x from here or 100x because Bitcoin itself is only less than $1 trillion today. But if we start thinking about all the new innovation, all the new use cases for cryptocurrencies, all the new use cases for, all kinds of technology, I think it's very obvious that if you want outsized returns in the market, you're going to have to invest in companies that are investing in technology and investing in themselves. Sure, there are companies I hold like REITs that I think will produce stable returns, but they are not going to have the explosive growth of something like Tesla, like Google, like these innovative companies that are changing how we work, how we interact with other people. That is where the money will be. Now, that is why I talked about BlockFi at the beginning, because they pay an interest rate on cryptocurrencies. They are helping you stack your crypto throughout time using credit cards, using interest. There are always all kinds of ways to make money in crypto, but those are some really good ways that I'm using myself. Now, I know this isn't like, oh, go buy the stock, it will 10x, but I think this is bigger. I think this really puts into context what you should be looking out for and what you can do to actually grow your wealth substantially over the coming years. There are going to be outliers, right? There are going to be companies that overperform and underperform, and our job is just to figure out, okay, what is actually going to produce a product that's quite innovative that will change how we work, how we interact. That is the end game, right? Any company that has done that has most likely done really well. Think about Facebook, right? It changes how we interact with people that we love and people that we dislike, and everyone, right? We go on there and we interact with them. Think about Google, right? You're watching this on a Google platform. 30 years ago, you couldn't have watched videos online, really. Think about Apple, right? They are creating a brand that's so strong that people don't care that it's overpriced. They don't care that they're kind of bottlenecked into buying more Apple products because they like the ecosystem, because they like how it all works together and it integrates. People are willing to overpay for it. So those companies are changing how we act, how we think about the world. Those are the companies that are going to do really well in the future. Those are the kind of companies that I'm trying to invest in. Those are the companies that ARK Invest is going to invest in. So thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Thank you for hitting the like button and sharing this video to anyone that might be interested. Definitely check out the links down below for the BlockFi credit card. I definitely think it's one that you should add to your wallet. No annual fee or anything like that. And check out the link down below to sign up with BlockFi to start investing in cryptocurrencies. Thank you guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.